Blessed Spirit, in thy divine wisdom now, erase our mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation our world according to thy perfect law.
God is all, both invisible and visible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am. Take that in. Really feel the truth, the power in that statement. I am connected to one life, one presence. All of that power is within you. So as we prepare for meditation, I invite you to release anything that you walked in with today. Any agenda for the day, even if it's exciting, you're looking forward to it. Any rush, any things you're like nagging at you to remember to do, just set them all aside and pick them back up later. Take one deep breath with me. And as you exhale, release everything that you can. Release your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, your eyebrows. Allow everything to fall down and be in peace. And with your next breath, breathe in all of that joy that we sang about. And as you exhale, release the rest. Bringing into our minds today, we reflect on the power that is within us. We recognize our connection with Spirit, with all that is, the one power. And we become more aware of our inner faculty of power. We feel it energizing and renewing us from within. We are invigorated in mind, body, and consciousness. How wonderful it is to have the power within us to choose our reactions, to choose our next step, to align the spirit. How powerful it is to know that we have the ability to take charge of our thoughts and our words. That creative energy is moving through us from the top of our heads, down through our mind, our thoughts, our memories, down through our physical body, our shoulders, our heart, our lungs, with every breath that we take. That life is moving through us, that presence of Christ within, that power, through every cell, through every organ. Down through our trunk, our hips, our legs, our knees, our feet, into the earth. With our next breath, we bring that power back up through the bottom of our feet, through our body. We feel it radiating like light through us. As that power shines through us and out from us, rippling out into the world. We set the intention to think and speak only positive, kind, affirming words to ourselves, to all those we come in contact with and those we think about. Our body thrives. We manifest loving, harmonious relationships. And we become the demonstration of prosperity, well-being, and love in action. Allow yourself to feel that moving through you, love in action. With every step you take, with every word you speak, with every thought you think. You can choose for it to be a source of love. With gratitude and respect for the spiritual gift, for this incredible power, we use it to create our best lives. Nothing is stronger than the power and love of God that flows within each and every one of us. With your next conscious breath, feel that power moving through you and acknowledge His presence. The presence of God within you, right where you are, always. The presence of God within those that we care about, those that we pray for, right where they are, God is. We affirm that the presence and power of Spirit now manifests within us and through us. We set the intention to use that good in the world, the good that is within us, and take it forth into our everyday. Bring to mind what that might look like for you. What it might look like for you to be loved in action. Just bring a picture and let it feel for you. How might it feel to bring power, to bring good to the world? To be little sparks of joy in the lives of the people you come in contact with. To feel that spark of joy within you right now, what might that feel like? Breathe that feeling in and store it in the memory of your heart, where you can turn and look to it anytime you might need to. Just remember to realign. From your heart space, breathe that power, that love, that energy through your heart. As you exhale, send it out into the world. And as you inhale, bring it back in to bless you. One more time, exhale that energy, that love out into the world. With your next breath in, bring it all in, allow it to embrace you, to comfort you, to enfold you. As you remember that it always is within you, hectic is you. You are the expression of love, of power, of good in the world. When you're ready, take one more deep breath and open your eyes. Just feel that presence right where you are. Breathe that in, knowing that you are love. You were made in the image and the likeness of love. One more breath. Sigh it out. One more time, breathe in that truth. And sigh it out. As we prepare to sing our meditation response. today about the power of the month, which is power. It's one that I think a lot of times people misunderstand. The use of power is really what you do with your words, your thoughts. The power itself speaks about, of the month, speaks of the 12 powers, speaks about the power of the spoken word. So how do you use your words? And I won't ask anyone to confess here, so we'll redirect this question in a different way. But does anyone know a chronic complainer, have one in their life? Somebody that always notices what's wrong, or if nothing's wrong, they're pretty sure something's about to be, right? And maybe there's one or two in the room. There's no judgment on that. But I want you to think about what that creates in their life. Because whatever you're feeling in your body and your thoughts and your mind, maybe you're just feeling just down or exhausted. Check in with your thoughts. See where they're at. Just check in. I'm here today to invite you to begin to mind your mind. Now, we're all about minding other people's business. What are you wearing? I can't believe you're in those shoes. What do you mean you're doing that? Have you not checked out what your children's doing on the internet? I mean, we're really on with everything, but how often do we check in with our own mind? And really, the power of our spoken word is just simply what's being filtered through our mind. So if you may know someone else, I will tell you, don't ever point out to the chronic complainer that that's what they're doing, because you will become the problem. But allow it to reflect back to you and remind you to check in with your words. Where are your thoughts? Where are your words? We say about the meditations of our words, serve to be a blessing. But if we're not conscious of that, have you ever noticed that your mind is like just a toddler running rampant? And then what comes out your mouth sometimes you didn't even check in first? Like it didn't even pause here to see if you should say it? So I want to use our power to consciously make positive choices, to check in, speaking powerful words of truth, which first has to really be about thinking them, right? So I shared in the email that went out this week a little snippet from The Game of Life and How to Play It. Great book. And she says in there, man should make an art of thinking. Are there any artists in the room or want to be? I'm a pretend to be. I'm not, yeah. And really, art's perspective, right? So even those of us pretending are creating, right? Do you ever notice how passionate you become about it, how much focus you put into it? Can you imagine if we just put that much positive energy into our everyday interactions? I mean, when we're there, whether you're painting or drawing or playing with Play-Doh, baking, whatever it is, you're like, ooh, this is fun, this is creative, I can't wait to see how this will turn out. And yet, our words and our thoughts just fly free in all the most random directions. So when your mind wanders, and you don't have to answer this out loud, where does it go? I mean, truly, you ever notice random thoughts? There are sometimes in my life where something will cross my mind, I'm like, whoa, really? Where did that thing come from? And we can't control that. They're going to happen. So minding your mind, just like meditation, is not about silencing it. It's not about finding a way to make sure that everything that crosses your mind is just beautiful and perfect. In fact, if you've learned how to do that, please share. Come, let's trade spots. Because the most random things will cross your mind, but you don't have to stay there. And that's the key. The key is to really noticing, minding your mind, really paying attention to what's going through there. So, I like to look up what the themes of the month are and things of that sort. But the first one that really caught me was, it is National Vision Month. Now, I assume that probably has something to do with eyesight, but that's not how I think. So when I heard National Vision Month, I wasn't thinking about, getting new glasses or getting my eyes checked, although do that too. I mean, that's important. But I thought, what is the vision we are holding? So I want you to really take a minute to think about what is the vision you are holding. Am I not loud enough? Do you want me to move my mic? Am I okay? Okay. I could just be louder. You know that, Linda. So what is the vision? It's probably because I'm turning my head. That's what it is. And my hands, so I don't do well with the hand mic either. What is the vision you're holding in your mind? When you're getting up in the morning and you're going out into your day, What are you expecting? What are you picturing? When you go to work, when you go to volunteer, whatever it is you do in your day. Now, it's springtime, so where are the gardeners in the room? Any gardeners? I'd like to borrow you, first and foremost, because I'm not, but I love the outcome. When you go outside and you look at that flower bed in the springtime, it's a goofy mess usually. I mean, there's all the dead stuff that didn't get trimmed away. Sometimes the little sprouts are coming up, but you're not even sure what's coming up yet. There's garbage has gathered, all this stuff happens. But what do you see? Typically what you see is how you want it to look. If you have little statues or garden decorations you put out there, you're picturing where do I want them? What kind of flowers do I want? Do I want something that's going to last all season? You see this beautiful vision. And then your mind says, okay, in order to get there, I need to clean this up. But you don't go out there, I assume, especially the gardeners, and say, ugh, forget it. Now, those of us who don't want to garden may do that. Actually, I go out there and go, ooh, who could do this for me? I still see the vision. But I really want you to check in with what is your vision. Because the truth is, when you go out into the world, you find what you go looking for. Whatever vision you're holding in your mind is going to show up. If you're going out expecting, you know, you're probably going to find a bunch of worms, or I have these little holes in my tree, I don't know what they're from, and everybody has a different opinion. From a woodpecker, in which case I'm impressed because they're in solid lines, to all these other theories. And I'm like, well, as long as nothing's wrong with it, it's still beautiful, I'm good. But somebody else, and one of the people in my condo said, you know what, you probably have, I don't even remember the long word he used, but like something that's about to kill my tree, and but it looks fine. And I've known him long enough to know that that's usually the angle he comes at. What's wrong? Well, this is here, it's probably the worst case scenario. I tend to be the eternal optimist and go the other way. Where are you at on that spectrum? Just check it. Don't judge yourself for it. Don't beat yourself up for it. In fact, it's also National Health Month, which I take very seriously. Mental health is something that is becoming more and more comfortable to talk about, but not for everybody. So that beating yourself up, that constantly running through what's wrong with you, that's not good for your health. In fact, have you ever noticed that affects everything? If you're suddenly beating yourself up, all of a sudden you got tension in your neck, and your back aches, and everything, and you can literally make yourself sick that way. So this is not about judgment, it's just about checking in. That's all I want to invite you to do today, just check in. Where is your mind? What vision are you holding? What are the stories that are constantly running through it? What are you expecting? Where are your thoughts? Especially when you're not tending to them, where do they go? Because if they tend to go off to worry and anxiety and resentment, because we can go in the past or in the future either way, and we can stay stuck in those things that don't even exist in this moment. So just notice. Because if you notice that that's where your mind tends to go, we can simply choose to pivot. Whenever you catch it, and it doesn't have to be a magical thing where you change it so you never have a negative thought. Again, I don't know how to do that. But if suddenly you notice your mind has gone down a rabbit hole of worry or whatever it is, thinking about what could go wrong, just shift, add an and or. I mean, if you're like, you know what, this is happening? Yeah, it is. And this is happening. Oh no, what if that happens? Or what if that happens? It's all included always. Stuff happens that we don't like. I mean, we can't stop that, right? But really think about how you can shift it. So if you have that pattern, don't judge it. Just start to shift it whenever you catch it. I wanted to see what vision was said, what they said about vision in the revealing word. Charles Fillmore said this. The metaphysical meaning of vision is, and this is the spiritual interpretation, seeing God as the foundation of all the sources, the source of all, and the substance of all. Seeing the good, the true, and the beautiful everywhere. In this manner is the eye single and the vision perfected. Now that's not so easy, is it? To see the good in everything, everywhere. But if there's something here that doesn't look very good, can you just notice what's around it? When you look at that garden, that flower bed, even when it's a muddy mess after the snow was melted and the flowers haven't come up yet, you see the possibility. So in the places where it's a little bit hard, can you just notice the possibility that exists? Just begin to believe that that's not all that is. And this is something that takes daily. Oh, it's a dance break. That's what I do randomly. Time to dance. But let's check in though with the basics. You know, we come here every Sunday and we talk about these principles and the powers. So let's look at just a couple of our principles and see if we really believe it's true. And I'm going to really focus on two. Our third principle is we are co-creators with God, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. What thoughts are you creating? What is coming out of those thoughts? The kids' version says, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. Now again, choosing, that's the key. Random stuff happens. I have some thoughts that I don't even like what did I watch before I went to bed last night? Good grief, where did that come from? And if it leads me to a disturbing feeling, I quickly have to shift it and think about something else. And that something else could be nothing more than, you know, maybe your tea in the morning that you're sipping on, that you just enjoy when you take the time to notice. It doesn't have to be what is wonderful. It can be what is that spark of joy. Carol read about joy this morning, and joy comes from the simplest things. The number fourth principle is through prayer and meditation, we align our heart and mind with God. Denials and affirmations are tools that we use. The kids' version says, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. It really is just about remembering. Pausing when you catch yourself and shifting. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but Habakkuk 2 in the Bible says, the righteous make a lifestyle out of trusting God no matter the circumstances. Now there's some writings from Ed Rabel, and I think you guys used to, maybe still have a study going with him, but he does a little bit of interpretation of the Old Testament. And I thought this really applied, so I'd like to share this as part of a lecture from him. He said, when Habakkuk mentions the vision, it is a symbol of your heart's desire. Your true desire of your heart is your vision that he is dealing with here. Not just a whim or a selfish fantasy, but some form of meaningful good which will bless you and bless your life. Your true heart's desire is the vision. Now, Habakkuk tells us that we already have an appointment with that vision. He starts out by saying, for the vision hath an appointed time. In other words, you have an appointed time with the fulfillment of your own heart's desire. It is a divine appointment, and that appointment will be kept on time, never too late, since all blessings come from God, and God does not make mistakes in time. Well, what this brought to mind is, how far removed are you from your heart's desire? Do you even remember, at most times, most days, what your true heart's desire is? So often the vision we're holding in our mind is a vision of fear, a vision of anxiety and worry. We forget what brings us those little sparks of joy. When's the last time you consciously chose to do something just for the fun of it? Just that brings you joy. And maybe it is gardening for the gardeners. I mean, that's something. I mean, the gardeners in my life, they bring so much joy. My son loves to do landscaping. I'm like, well, there you go. Mother's Day's next week. Knock yourself out. I'll even buy the plants. So whether it's gardening or baking or reading or going for a walk, whatever it is, how often do you take time to nourish you, to care for you, to really direct what's going through your mind? What's the vision you're holding? Because if the vision you're holding is one of good, is one's willing to see God in everything, even in the places that may seem like tragedy or upset, even there, God shows up as comfort or as a helping hand. For me, I often notice God as the helpers in the world. What a beautiful thing. And that's not just the people, building orphanages and, doing the big stuff. Sometimes the helpers in the world are the person that pushes the button at the street corner so the light works for the person that forgot. Just that, or at the elevator. Okay, not to be funny, but I've been the one standing at the elevator, never having pushed the button. And what a gift it is to have somebody else come up and go. Friday, actually, one of my coworkers said, we're going home, try down instead. So I pushed the up button, I'm like, thank you. And then she told me not to get in the first elevator that came, which was going up. The helpers are everywhere, if you notice. So what are you noticing? It's really about, Charles Fillmore teaches about mind-idea expression. What we hold in mind, what comes through divine mind, becomes our idea. And then we, in whatever way is meant for us, express that. So God is absolute good, everywhere present, is one of our principles. That is that divine mind. Human beings have a spark of that divinity within them. It comes through to us. Have you ever just had something come through your mind, you're like, that is mine to do? Really? Yes, and you're guided in another direction. But the idea, humans create their experiences, really think about that. That idea that comes through us, do you ignore it? Do you pass on it? Or do you ask, what is mine to do here? When I see something that I think is not positive, something going on in the world that I wish I could do something about, that's what I do. I ask, what is mine to do here? And we may not have all the answers. That whole it takes a village thing is true. But God is working in and through and as each and every one of you. And so that vision you're holding in your mind might give you that spark of, oh, here is something I can bring to that situation. Or here's a little bit of comfort I can bring to that person. And it may not change the situation they're going through. But when we're open to these ideas coming through us, then the perfect way for us to express it shows up. Hypatia Hasbrook, I may say her last name as well, she talked about great affirmations. And she said her first great affirmation is, my mind and the mind of God are one. So when those weird thoughts come through, is that God too? Or is that the place we forget? Is that ego coming through? Is that fear coming through? And when you allow yourself to acknowledge it, is there another thought that can come through as well? Because those divine ideas are always there available to you as well. Sometimes it just takes shifting. And if you are in a pattern of fear, and we've all gone through it in our lives. Yeah, some people may be a little bit more consistent with it. But every one of us has had times where fear overwhelmed us. Worry overwhelmed us. Any parents here? Because I mean, there you go, right? You can't be a parent without worries coming up. Whether they're little and you don't want them to run in the street, or whether my daughter just turned 32 yesterday. And it's a whole lot of worries there. Ones that I have absolutely no control over. But when you're in that mindset, there's also other ideas going on. Other divine ideas that can let you see it a different way. So again, when those thoughts come up, can you say, you know, last night my daughter went out to celebrate her birthday. And it's like, oh, you know, all that you could go into, all the things. And I didn't even need to make up stories. You can go into all the things that can happen if you're out. It's like, I don't know, I went out clubbing a whole lot in my 20s and 30s. None of that happened, right? She's going out to celebrate with friends. What a beautiful thing it is. But if suddenly you start to worry, and our kids have a knack for that. I mean, that's the place we tend to do the most worrying. What if you said, or this could happen? She's going out and she's got a great time. This could happen or this could happen. Hypatia said that the second great affirmation is this. With God-like thoughts, I think into being a God-like world. When my mind is centered on the truth of the presence and grace of God speaking to me, I become aware of divine patterns which emerge in my thinking. Through prayer, by the grace of God, these divine patterns begin, through the gift of faith that is mine as a child of God, to shape a God-like world for me. Really hear that. Our thoughts, our words, have an effect so far beyond just our personal experience. They ripple out, they affect everything. Last week in the youth ministry, I used a puzzle to demonstrate the truth that we are all one. And I asked the kids, if I take this puzzle and I fly to another country with it, is it still a part of the puzzle? And one said no. I said, but if I bring it back, does it still fit? And someone said, well, it is still a part of it, it's just not connected. I said, well, right. And sometimes we may feel disconnected, but we're all still part of that one. But it's funny because when I went on to say that that then goes on to mean that everything we do affects everything in some way. One of the 70-year-olds said, "Oh, that's awfully deep. I don't know if I can go there." That's literally what he said. I'm like, "Oh." And there may be someone here thinking that, like, I am not willing to own responsibility for the whole world. I can't. And it's not that if you have a negative thought, everything's going wrong in the world. Just know that you carry that energy with you everywhere you go, and it does have an effect. It has an effect on the people around you. Go drive in rush hour traffic. Your experience will be completely different based on the energy you bring to it. If a sign that says, "Please be responsible for the energy you bring into this space." And I would invite you today to be responsible with the energy you bring to this space. Just mind your mind. Just check in now and then. And again, it's not about judging. The patient goes on to say the third great affirmation is, "I send forth only thoughts of good, and good returns in overwhelming measure. The godlike world that is shaped by my mind, receiving and processing divine ideas, brings forth the spiritual understanding of how our world works, and from that comes creative insights about how we can love and serve one another." That's the key. To be open to knowing what is ours to do. That mind idea expression, we may have an idea and not know where to begin. But when we go into prayer and meditation, without being attached to what it's supposed to look like, those divine ideas are more free to move through us. And when we catch ourselves going, "Yeah, but," because we're full of "yeah, buts," especially when it requires us to own it, be responsible for it, or make a change. Anybody ever set a goal? And then I always tell people, when you set a goal, say, "All right, in order for me to achieve this goal, what about me must shift or change, or how must I align?" And then that big answer comes up. It's like, "Why don't I do that? Can't we do this a different way?" And so the expression may require change. If you're looking out at a problem in the world, and we all do it, it's like, well, if those people would just whatever it is, this would be much better. If everyone would think like we do, the world would be a better place, right? But that's not going to happen. So how can I be part of the solution rather than expecting everyone else to be it? Shifting your thinking even from them out there to what is mine to do is a powerful way, because then your vision becomes in your control. If we're pointing out and telling everyone else what they must do, I mean, that's an endless battle. Because the truth is, the world is never going to be completely in alignment with one thought. But the absolute truth is that we are all one in God mind. And it's just expressed differently through each and every one of us. In the Game of Life, she also mentions, she says, "It is impossible for man to release more than he thinks is possible. For one is bound by the limited expectations of the subconscious. He must enlarge his expectancies in order to receive in a larger way." Now, again, that doesn't mean enlarging it so that we see everybody doing what we want them to do. I mean, wouldn't that be nice, though? One of my best friends has mentioned to me many times when I'm flustered, "April, not everybody thinks like you." I'm like, well, that's the problem. And we've all had those kind of thoughts, right? It's like, if you would just do what I want. I mean, parents, haven't you wished that 840,000 times in your life? If they would just do what I want, if they would just do what I say, and they're human and they might not do that. But do you do all the things that you expect of you, that you promised yourself, that you think you should be doing in your life? I don't. If I ruled with myself, I would go, well, you know what? This is something I know really does me good, and when's the last time I did it? I really require more self-care. What am I going to do about that? So it's really about minding not only your words, because we've been told if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, right? We've heard that all our life. But have you ever felt that festering inside because you were trying to keep quiet, what wasn't very nice? And even if you had that filter working on your mouth, it could eat you alive inside. Well, you know, what kind of energy are you bringing to the world then? Well, you're like, I'm not going to say it, put me on that person. Or, I mean, again, go drive in rush hour traffic. If that doesn't prompt that in you, then you're amazing. Well, the more we mind our mind, the more we can be open to that idea, that divine idea coming through us, and be more open to different ways we can express the good in the world. And the more we're willing to do that, it really does ripple out and cause a change. There's a book called Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Barron. There's a lot of complicated last names I'm using today. But she talks about the order of visualization. So, a lot of this can sound really great. We have a lot of pretty words in the Bible, the scriptures, and our teachings, and yet when it comes down to what do we do with it, often we don't discuss that. I think she gives us a great example of what to do with this. So she says, the exercise of the visualizing faculty keeps your mind in order and attracts you to the things you need to make life more enjoyable in an orderly way. If you train yourself in practice of deliberately picturing your desire and carefully examining it, you will soon find your thought and desire come and proceed in a more orderly procession than ever before. Having reached a state of order mentally, you are no longer in a constant state of mental hurry. Hurry is fear, and consequently destructive. Really think about that. Hurry is fear. When you're right, that can lead you to missing things, to making mistakes. She goes on to say, in other words, when your understanding grasps the power of visualization, when you're able to visualize your heart's desire and hold it with your will, it attracts to you all things required to the fulfillment of that picture by the harmonious vibrations of the law of attraction. You realize that since order is heaven's first law, and visualization places things in their natural element, then it must be a heavenly thing to visualize. But here's the part that caught me, or maybe that stacked inside my head a little. You ever need that? Anyone else ever need a little bit of paying attention? But there's a cause and effect in referring to getting. This whole manifest is creating, is drawing us to us. If we're not minding our mind, we might be drawing something we don't want. She says, if you plant an acorn, you get a what? An oak. If you sow a grain of corn and you reap a stalk and many kernels of corn, depending on what you want, is what you should be planting. You always get the manifestation of that which you consciously or unconsciously, so if you're not minding your mind and you're stuck in fear, that's still creating whether you meant to be or not. Whatever you consciously or subconsciously affirm and claim, habitually declare and expect, and in other words, as you sow. What does constantly come out of your mouth? What's going to go wrong? Your complaints about everybody? What's wrong in the world? Who should be doing what differently? Or are you constantly sharing gratitude and affirmation and praise, and I'm so grateful for you, and you make a difference, and I can see the beauty. Oh, look at the possibility of this messy, muddy garden. Therefore, sow seeds of I am, I ought, I can. I will realize that because you are, you ought. That because you ought, you can. And because you can, you do. So taking into mind this idea of visualization. If you've noticed any place at all over the past 45 minutes, so you're like, yeah, I do a little bit of that. Or I'm stuck with that one. Maybe there's some place where you're stuck and you don't know how to release it. But that worry is just there, and it's something real and valid to worry about. I mean, we all have things real and valid to worry about. I have friends going through some things, and my kids going through things, and I could look at the worst possible outcome, or I can stand in the celebration of this moment with them, the possibility of this moment. When those thoughts, those fears, those worries come through my mind, I can catch them, acknowledge them, and shift them. And it may not be that you go, well, okay, this person's maybe facing a disease. It's not about going, no, they're not, because we know that they are. But it's saying, oh, and we get to do this today. Or, oh my goodness, and this is also going on. It's both and. And when you struggle with the thought, just see if you can say this and this or that. Just minding your mind will make you aware in a way that then gives you the control, the power to shift. The power to shift your words, notice what you're talking about, the power to shift your vision that you're holding in What do you think about before you go to sleep at night? Be willing to bet you it makes a difference in how well you rest. When you go out into the world before you start the day, what is it you're taking into the day? Are you going out going, oh, I gotta go to work again, I can't stand those people? Or are you going, I am so grateful I get to go to work. I have a job. And if you don't like it, I had the opportunity to be looking for something even greater, even better, something I'm aligned with. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's really both and. Mind your mind and notice what direction it's usually focused on. So as you get ready to say the Lord's Prayer, I'd like to take a moment first just to bring a vision in your mind, right now in this moment, an outcome that you would like to see. And maybe that's more peace in your day, whatever it might look like for you. Maybe it's healing of a relationship. Maybe there's something in the world, a big, big thing that you wish would be healed and you don't know how. Open your mind to a spark of an idea to what might be yours to do. Be willing to shift and just notice. Just notice. But bring that vision to mind, whatever vision came to your mind today. I'd like to invite you to think about it just once a day. Just once. It can be just a moment when you wake up. Turn your mind to that beautiful vision of the outcome you desire. That desire that comes from your heart space. You've heard many times the idea that you only need the faith of a mustard seed. Have you ever seen a mustard seed? It's literally, I can hold it in my fingers about like that. And I mean the little bitty part that you can't actually see. It's so small, so you don't have to know the how. You don't have to know the where, the what. But if you hold that vision and are open to those ideas coming through you, something may show up that is the way is yours, that becomes your expression. If you just believe in the possibility, you don't need to know how, just the possibility that that outcome could happen. So who's willing once a day just to bring that picture to mind, whatever your picture was? Once a day, can you just set a reminder on your phone to just for 1 minute? And if you have trouble visualizing what it might look like, close your eyes and feel what it feels like. Whatever that vision is, whatever your heart's desire is. Will anyone join me in this? Yeah. We got 2. Okay, 3. Okay. You'll be amazed at the transformation that can come from that. Mind your mind. We've heard a lot of people say mind your business. But you know what that really means? It really means what business is yours, what is yours to do. What a beautiful thing it would be if we all were willing to put on our boots and step out to do what is ours to do. But if you don't pay attention, you will never know what that is. So I can't wait to hear stories of how it shows up for you. And I hope truly both they will share. Thank you. So now you'll join me in singing the Lord's Prayer. Hear these words, hear the affirmation. We are singing it, right? Okay. Let's change these up now.
Yeah.
The way to bring offering in your hand, if you're not giving it in this moment in person, bring what you are offering to the world in your hand and just hold that vision. Your love, your time, your talent, your treasure. As we bless these gifts, we affirm that God is our source and that we don't have to define the way in which it comes through to us, but we simply acknowledge that all of our needs are met and we thank God for providing for our every need. So join me in our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give joyfully and easily, for the universe is my source, and abundance is my nature. As we give, we know that it's pressed down, shaken together, running over every turn to us multiplied. So we thank you for this opportunity to give of our time, our talent, our treasure, our power, our love, our good to the world. And we know that as we bless these offerings, they go out into the world to bless everyone that we come in contact with and beyond. And so it is.
Now everyone sing along. Here we go. Michael, on the shore. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
directed wherever we choose. So use the power within you to direct your vision, your imagination, your thoughts this week, and make it great, make it beautiful, make it whatever your heart's desire calls you to. And if you're willing, join me in some hand movements for the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Go forth, exchange some hugs, and have a great week. Thank you.